Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. Today we're unpacking something called the dead internet theory. It's this pervasive, honestly kind of spooky idea that the web as we originally knew it, well, it's already gone. According to recent analysis of global web traffic, a staggering percentage of internet activity isn't even generated by humans anymore. It's actually generated by automated scripts. So we're going to completely bypass the surface-level rumors today and look exactly at what the source material reveals about the invisible, automated architecture of our current digital world. We'll dive into the data, the historical origins of this whole phenomenon, and the underlying mechanics that researchers suggest are completely reshaping how we interact online. Let's get right into it.
Kicking things off with Section 1, the empty internet feeling.
Have you noticed that the internet feels a bit empty lately? Seriously, take a second to just reflect on your recent scrolling habits. The sources point out that there's a growing consensus among longtime web users that the fundamental texture of our online lives has really shifted. Historically, the internet was defined by personal blogs, chronological feeds curated by actual friends, and those highly idiosyncratic, human-driven forums. But recent commentary highlights a very specific, almost hollow feeling that's replaced that era. It's this sense that you're just shouting into a vast digital void, rather than participating in an active, organic community. Experts who study online culture are noting that the shift toward these hyper-optimized, algorithmic feeds has basically stripped away the human messiness that used to characterize web surfing. Instead of stumbling upon genuine human interactions, users are frequently reporting a pervasive sense of isolation. And that's happening even when platforms claim they're connected to millions of other active accounts. The sources suggest this isn't just nostalgia for an older era of the web, it's a measurable psychological response to a fundamentally altered digital environment.
The sources highlight what we can call the repetitive web. You know the feeling, right? It's that uncanny sensation of seeing the exact same memes repeatedly recycled, reading identical top comments across completely different platforms, and watching the same viral formats endlessly regurgitated. It's not just digital déjà vu. The material breaks down how this repetition actually manifests in the wild. You might notice comment sections where the syntax feels just slightly off, or where users seem to be having entirely parallel conversations that never actually intersect. The sources track how certain text strings and outrage-baiting replies are literally copy-pasted with mathematical precision across thousands of videos and articles. It validates that subconscious suspicion you might have that the web has become completely stale and homogenized. The quirky, unpredictable nature of human creativity seems to be increasingly drowned out by a highly predictable, sanitized wave of identical content. But why is this homogenization happening at such a massive scale? Well, proponents of our main topic point to a specific, almost dystopian explanation for all this systemic repetition.
Which brings us to Section 2, the dead internet theory. So, the dead internet theory proposes that the internet, at least the human-centric version we originally knew, actually died a few years ago. To really understand this, the sources dive into the theory's historical origins, tracing it back to around 2016 and 2017 on niche forums like Agora Road's Macintosh Cafe. Proponents argue that the vast majority of public traffic, posts, and interactions are no longer created by human beings. Now, when they say the internet died, they don't mean the physical servers were unplugged. They mean the death of the human-curated peer-to-peer web. Instead, they claim the modern internet is almost entirely automated, totally overrun by an endless army of artificial intelligence bots and web crawlers. The source material indicates that we have undergone a massive paradigm shift from a network built for human connection to essentially a machine-driven simulation. Analysts studying internet traffic routinely find that bot activity, which ranges from search engine crawlers to really sophisticated impersonation scripts, accounts for a remarkably high percentage of all data requests. For believers of this theory, this data isn't just an infrastructural quirk, it's absolute proof that human voices are now merely a minority operating within a vast artificial landscape.
Let's look at how this works in Section 3, the closed-loop bot system. Think about the mechanical rhythm of this process for a second. Step 1, algorithms generate artificial content. Step 2, AI bots automatically post it. Step 3, other AI bots immediately leave automated comments. Step 4, massive bot farms swoop in to artificially inflate the views and the likes. Post, comment, like, repeat. The source material describes this as a meticulously designed closed-loop system, and honestly, the most startling part explored in the text is that this infrastructure isn't an accident. It is supposedly leveraged by corporations with highly specific financial motives. The sources detail how platform valuations are inextricably tied to engagement metrics, specifically daily active users and time spent on the app.
By deploying or just allowing these closed-loop bot networks, platforms can artificially juice those metrics, appease advertisers, and demonstrate constant growth to investors. Meanwhile, the actual human user is kept locked into a perpetual state of scrolling, fed a continuous stream of interactions engineered to look popular. The sources argue that this automated feedback loop actively distorts our perception of what's culturally relevant, creating viral trends out of thin air simply because the internal machinery decided to boost a specific piece of synthetic content.
Moving right along to Section 4, the AI content explosion.
This is the economic reality driving the theory today. We've all seen the massive recent explosion of advanced AI text and video generators. Well, the sources explain that this means the underlying economics of the internet have completely flipped. It has simply become cheaper and exponentially faster to generate fake internet content than to rely on humans to produce it. The material discusses this concept of zero marginal cost in digital creation. Historically, producing a well-researched article or an engaging video required hours, days, or even weeks of human labor. Now, an advanced language model can generate thousands of highly articulate, context-aware posts in the exact time it takes a human user to type out a single response. The barrier to flooding the web with automated material hasn't just been lowered, it has practically vanished. Researchers point out that this technological leap is exactly what makes the dead internet theory suddenly so technologically feasible. When the cost of simulating human intelligence approaches zero, the volume of synthetic media will inevitably outpace authentic human creation, structurally burying real users beneath an avalanche of infinitely scalable machine-generated media.
And that brings us to our final section, Section 5, what is actually real?
This stark contrast fundamentally shatters the illusion of normal social media engagement. Think about it. What you think you're doing is passionately arguing with a stranger in a comment section, right? Debating the nuances of a video or a news post. But according to the psychological implications outlined in the sources, you are frequently just talking to a line of code. The texts explore the deep psychological toll and the severe digital burnout this asymmetrical relationship causes. You're pouring genuine human emotion, time, and intellectual energy into a digital void, interacting with software that has been specifically designed to mimic human outrage, agreement, or provocation. And here is the really wild part. The sources argue that these bots are frequently optimized to elicit the strongest possible emotional reaction from you, simply because anger and controversy are the most reliable drivers of sustained engagement. This creates a totally exhausting dynamic where the human user is continuously drained by high-stakes emotional arguments, while the counterpart on the other side of the screen feels absolutely nothing. It highlights a profound sense of alienation where we're spending significant portions of our lives attempting to connect with or defend ourselves against an entity that simply does not exist.
Which leaves us with a terrifying question posed directly by the source material. Taking all of the data, the economics of artificial intelligence, and the underlying mechanics of these closed-loop systems into account, the next time you log on, how much of what you see is actually real?